Hello everyone. Namaste. My name is Shivam and today we will talk about need of yoga anatomy. There are many subjects in yoga. If we talk about yoga philosophy, if we talk about yoga practicals, if we talk about anatomical perspective, if we talk about Shatkarma and all, then we find out that actually what we need, that is absolute anatomical perspective, because without knowing the concentration, without knowing the actual phenomena of anatomical and physiological perspective, you won't be able to teach anyone how yoga is going to impact on the particular body. If we talk about how we can segregate anatomy in yoga anatomy, so definitely we must understand the concept of Ashtanga yoga. Ashtanga is a basically we can say that 8 limbs of yoga. Like if we talk about Ashtanga, then definitely Yam, then Niyam, then Asan, then Pranayam, then Pratyahar, then Dharana, then Dhyan, and the last one, Samadhi. So these are 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga yoga. These two basically meant with ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigrah. Similarly, niyam also consists of 5 major organelles, that is Shauch, Swadhyay, Tap, Ishwar Pranidhan, and all. So these two are basically majorly covered by anatomical perspective. How? That's what we will learn. When we talk about ahimsa, then definitely we can segregate in 3 major manners, like mansa, vacha, and karmana. That means ahimsa, that means in English we can say that non-violence. Non-violence we can segregate in 3 major patterns. The first pattern is what? The first pattern is that we can say it is all about how you are going to practice non-violence, and non-violence is the subject matter of your mind. If you know anatomy, then definitely you heard the name of dopamine. These elements of mind, we can say that play a vital role to practice yam and niyam. Without understanding the need of dopamine, how you can acquire the actual need of dopamine, you won't be able to practice the ashtanga first limb. In fact, we can say it yam and niyam. So we can say in a very common manner that we need yoga anatomy and physiology. When we talk about how we can practice asana, how we can practice pranayama without knowing yoga anatomy, then must understand that you are not going to practice any asana without knowing the name of particular muscles. We can say muscles, we can say bones, we can say system. In fact, on cellular level, if you want to change something materialistic thing related with your body, then definitely you have to understand the need of cell cytology and histology. We can say cytology is the education of cells, and easily we can say that this is the example of histology as well. So histology is all about like how you are practicing your yoga anatomy in the particular level. Like cytology, you need to understand how cytology is going to prepare yourself. Like we talk about many things. For example, like we can talk about cell. What is cell? When we talk about, like, first Robert Hooke identified something in the human body. This is the structure kind of this, we can say this kind of a structure he identified. So this structure was basically identified by Robert Hooke and then Robert Brown, Didouet, many scientists was there, and they identified cell. Cell is something we can say that we have, nucleus, we have nucleoplasm, we have cytoplasm, we have mitochondria, we have Golgi apparatus, and many distinguished organelles are there inside the cell. So regarding that, what we need, we have to understand how which asana, which pranayama directly impact on this cellular level, and for that you have to practice dhyan and dharana. Dharana is all about your mentality, how you are going to be prepare your mindset, how you are going to introduce the mindsets and all. So while teaching yoga, you must understand the concept of cytology. Like when Benda was identified mitochondria, then he says that this is the energy house, but you are using the energy house or not? Like you are teaching yoga to any of the client, any of the yoga student, then definitely you have to understand the need of mitochondria. While you are not aware of Golgi apparatus workout, you are not aware about the system of this cytology, you are not aware about the concepts of histology. There are four kinds of tissues inside our body, like we can say epithelial are there, we can say nervous are there, we can say musculus are there, and these kinds of we have tissues are there, but we are not using this in yoga anatomy because we are not aware about that. How you are going to impact on the cytology? Like any of your client is suffering with any dumbest problem, then definitely you have to understand, you have to identify the need of anatomy, and then you can treat the particular dumbest clients, and you can say that this is the anatomical perspective we can lead throughout this anatomy. Meanwhile, we have more options are there also. What we can do, after reading cytology, after reading histology, you will be aware, you will be definitely able to understand the difficult to difficult disease. Like there are many traditional diseases, my friends. Traditional diseases we can say, like when we talk about like obesity, first example, obesity. This is the very traditional disease. Meanwhile, you are not aware about the umbilical system of abdomen. Like what is that umbilical system of an abdomen? These are basically 9 umbilical regions located in abdomen. Umbilical 1, U2, U3, and this is the umbilical area, actual umbilical area, and U4, U5, U6, U7, U8, U9. So how you will teach to particular student or client that you must have to do Tiryak Tadasana, Tadasana, Kati Chakrasana, or Bhujangasana, and while doing that, this particular area, this particular region will be hampered. Meanwhile, what I need to tell you today, that you must have to understand the anatomical perspective. Without knowing the actual anatomy, you won't be able to understand the need of pranayama as well. Like asanas are definitely, like if I say like I am going to do Tirakta, I am going to do Tadasana, for example. Tadasana is kind of that. So while doing Tadasana, definitely we have to understand the concept, like which kinds of muscles, which muscles are strengthening, which muscles are evoking itself and all. While doing Tirak Tadasana, we must understand how we are doing. While doing Kati Chakrasana, we must aware about our every perspective. Suppose you are doing Surya Namaskar, like you are performing 12 major asanas, and you are definitely suffering with any hyper cardiovascular activity, and you are getting with the hyper cardiovascular activity, and you won't be able to survive with the high BP, then definitely it will not okay for you. So what I need to tell you today, that we must understand the need of anatomy. So yam, niyam, and asana. Then we talk about pranayama. You are doing Kapalbhati Kriya, and you are saying, you are doing Anulom Vilom, like you are inhaling, then exhaling, then inhaling, then exhaling, and you are saying that this is a very neutral thing. Your prana will be definitely suffers. Like we can call 5 kinds of prana in yoga, like pran, apan, vyan, pran, apan, Vyan, Saman, and Udan. These are 5 basic pran, and you are not aware about each pran. While you are segregating pranas in these 5 particulations, and you are not much aware about the philosophical perspective of these prana, and you are not aware about the anatomy, then definitely you will not going to teach how to get rid from the particular diseases. So these are the major sections. While reading pranayama, while doing pranayama, we must understand the need of yoga anatomy. Then come to the pratyahara. This is the Astanga yoga. I'm teaching you why yoga anatomy is required in Astanga yoga. I taught you about yama. I took only one example from ahimsa. Satya is also a concept of dopamine, that is a mindset, and similarly niyama and asana and pranayama. Then we talk about pratyahara. What is pratyahara? This is all about dietary. Dietary, when we talk about dietary, then it come to your diet sections. Diet section is very important in various diseases. Like various diseases, we can say that the section 1, we can say cardio activities, we can say that philosophical activities, we can say that physiological activity, we can say that mind activities and all. So while understanding the pratyahara, you must understand the anatomy, because which body requires the same thing, like you need carbohydrate or not, you need proteins or not, you need minerals or not. So while reading this anatomy, we must understand the need of pratyahara, and without knowing the pratyahara concept, you won't be able to survive with the same. So this is the another major impact. However, in yoga traditional books, we find there are two kinds of dietary, we can say that this is the sattvic diet, and sattvic, that means traditional diet, good diet, and we segregate it also in three major manners. But meanwhile, in anatomy, it defines why sattvic diet is important in yoga, why you are going to eat something or why you are not going to eat something. This is all defined by yoga anatomy only. Then we talk about dharana, and this is the major pattern for our mindset, for our psychological perspective of yoga. Psychological perspective of yoga is a very, very important thing. If you are not mentally prepared for doing any asana, then you trust me, you won't be able to do any asana. Because for example, I am going to teach you that, like, do this, like you are going to do Natarajasana, and you won't be able to do because your spine is injured. So for that, you must prepare with dharana. Dharana is something like your teacher is going to evoke you to understand you why you are required to do the particular asana. So this is again defined by yoga anatomy only, because if you are not going to define it anatomically, then philosophy is not going to capture all of the adherences whatever required by us. So dharana is another pattern, and this is also treated by cellular level also. Dharana, whenever you are practicing dharana, that means mentality. When you are practicing dharana, then definitely your cytology plays a very important role. Cytology and histology, these are the two major pattern, like histology and cytology. These are two major cytology. Yes, cytology and histology. These are two major patterns which plays a very important role that we need while doing dharana and while practicing dharana. So, my dear friends, this is another perspective. And if you talk about dhyan, meditation, then it comes to the ultra level of practice of anatomical adherences. What is dhyan? I must tell you, this is not defined in philosophy. It is all about practice, because my understanding of dhyan is different from your understanding of dhyan. So dhyan is another level. If your yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana satisfied, then you can pursue with dhyan, and that means meditation. Meditation is something like it always starts from you and ends at you. You cannot describe it anymore. It's all about your thought, it's all about your process, how you are going to deal with your body only. And if your body, like asana, what we say, our ancient sages says in Sanskrit that aset iti asanam. That means you are feeling comfortable in the particular situation. That means asanas you are doing. After doing asana, after cleansing your mental abilities and your gestural breathing and all, pranayama, after controlling your breathe, like chale vate chale chittam nishalam chale bhavet. Another example are there. Like if you are breathing something, then definitely your mind will be not aware about any concepts. So you must control your breathe. Then you have to control your pratyahara, that means your diet. Then you have to control your dharana, that means your mentality. And after pursuing all of these segments, you can do meditation. Without understanding these all, you won't be able to survive with dhyan and meditation. So for that, you must understand the yoga anatomy. And while understanding the yoga anatomy, you will be aware that which major elements are going to be hampered in your mindset, in your body, which cognitive reports are not important or hampering in your body, and you can control over there. And after after that you can pursue with dhyan. And the last segment is samadhi. This is still undefined because it's all about to advance yoga practices. So this is Ashtanga yoga, and that's what I treat you with the need of yoga anatomy. So my dear friends, I'm sure that there are many questions related with you, and this video is basically for you only, for yoga teachers training. As a teacher, you are going to become a teacher, and while becoming a teacher you must understand the need of anatomy. So keep connected with anatomical perspective. I definitely we can give you some examples of more systems related yoga anatomy and respiratory and digestive and nervous and muscular, and many are there. But meanwhile, what we can do, first we have to understand the whole scenario of yoga, traditional yoga, and after understanding the actual yogic philosophy you can enter in the era of anatomy and physiology. Anatomy, we can say in Hindi, that is Rachna Vigyan, and physiology, that means Kriya Vigyan, how your body is working, that is all about physiology. So physiology is the another pattern, this is a different, but anatomy is very important, as you won't be able to survive without anatomy, and this is the need of yogic concepts. So thank you so much logging off today, and we'll meet you in next video. Thank you so much. Namaste.